How would you cope with living with a poltergeist in your house? Well, coming up shortly, we'll give you a very easy tip on how you can exorcise one and get rid of it. But first, let's travel to Hastings to find out about a poltergeist that caused all sorts of problems there. Now on the Y-Files, a story of a poltergeist. This particular story led us down to Sussex, to Robertsbridge, a village just near Hastings, and to the 7 Stars Inn. Andy Green is a paranormal investigator, and he knows all about the story.
I have investigated the 7 Stars and made various visits ever since the 1970s when I first came down here. And I was told then by the owner that things had occurred in 7 Stars, things being moved about. Well, I've done no official investigations. I've done investigations on my own behalf, really, because I'm fascinated by poltergeist activity. This is where objects move around by their own volition, apparently. Some unseen force is actually moving objects. And this has been going on, to my knowledge, since 1971.
Well, I've been here 5 years, and there's various things happen here. My first wife was held in bed in our bedroom in one of the back rooms, and I just didn't really pay any attention to it at all. And then my present wife had the same experience last year.
One morning I got up, like really ready to get out of bed, and as I tried to get out of bed, I was like held back, like two strong hands were holding me back, and every time I tried to put my head up, I was put back to bed, and I was like wide awake, and I was like, what's going on? So I kept pushing myself out, and I couldn't get out of bed. Then just the last minute, I just jumped out of bed, and there was nothing there. Like I could feel just the hands, the 2 hands holding me, but not a body, not anything, just the 2 heavy hands. After I jumped out of bed, I was standing there and looking, and I was actually, Colin had already gone to us. I was the only one in the bedroom, and my heart was actually beating really fast, and I was really scared.
I laughed at my wife when she told me, until it happened to me, and then I realised it wasn't funny. Terrifying experience, the lights on in the bedroom, and something holding me in bed, and I'm trying to get out of bed, really fighting to get out of bed, and I couldn't get out of bed, and I literally jumped up and they went through the roof in a cold sweat, and my wife fell out of bed, and what's the matter, what's the matter?
Other members of staff have had such terrifying experiences that they've had to leave.
My young cook, Jane Lorette, worked in the kitchen, and she seemed to attract the presence. She wouldn't go down the cellar because her hair stood up.
In the cellar on one day, I know that papers that were stored there suddenly took off and filled the whole cellars with papers, newspapers flying around all over the place. Because poltergeist activity, it is a question of nerves and stress and trauma. In a particular case, a young lady was working in the 7 Stars with her ex-boyfriend, and this causes a bit of tenseness, which I think probably accounted for that particular incident.
In the kitchen we had all these happenings where jelly fly off the top and land on the table and melt, and at the same time one of the great big aluminium pots flew around the kitchen, and she ran out the kitchen, and eventually she packed the job up because she had so many happenings.
Poltergeist activity anyway does not last for more than 6 or 7 months before the energy that is there disperses.
Temporary or not, something keeps coming back.
A couple of days ago, the bar lady was busy washing the glasses, and she went to pour a drink for one of the customers, and 2 glasses were standing on the zinc, and it just jumped into the zinc and broke. Nobody touched it, it was standing in the middle.
And has the barman experienced anything personally?
The only experience I had was on the night of the 16th of October, and I went down to one of the toilets to see if the windows were closed and just to secure it, to put the alarm on. 20 minutes to 4, the next morning the alarm went off. We came down, switched the emergency lights on, see if nobody's broken, nothing is moved. I saw nothing, and I went up, cancelled the alarm, locked up again, secured the place again. Nothing was still moved or touched. I climbed back into bed. The next morning when I let the cleaner in, I suddenly realized that the cellar door was open and there was two crates standing on top of each other in the type of form like this, and the cellar door.
So, is there any explanation hidden within the building itself?
The Seven Stars is probably the oldest genuine haunted pub in England. It was built in 1177 to house the monks from Selhurst Abbey, which was built in 1176. And the legend of the Red Monk is Andrew was the leader of the monks, and Oliver Cromwell's troops raided the pub in 1553 for artifacts from the Abbey, and he couldn't find them there and turned up at the Seven Stars, which was a monk's wielding all at the time. And Andrew wouldn't tell them where the artifacts and jewellery gold was from the Abbey, so they bricked him alive in the chimney, and he is the legend of the Red Monk.
At the end of the day, I don't believe in it, but since my incident on the Friday night, I would say it made me think. It made me think that there really is something here.
I'm not really afraid of anything, but there are things now. I've been here 5 years that I do take very, very seriously. The local vicar, John Lamberhurst, has actually exorcised the place. The previous landlord had poltergeist in the bedroom with the children, and he came in and exorcised the place, which solved the problem then, and that was about 7 or 8 years ago. And we've had various psychic people in here who have said that there is a presence, a spirit, but to my knowledge there's been nobody here said there's an evil spirit.
But it would appear that Colin no longer need worry, as Andrew found a solution for the previous landlady's poltergeist.
One of the things that I found to eradicate the problem is to swear at it. It being not an entity, but the actual force there. And she took this attitude, that was the right one apparently, because she said quite recently in the media, Andrew told me to swear at it, and I swore at it, and nothing happened since. Marvellous. Instant exorcism.